Hello, Black girls. Welcome to another episode of Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. My name is Ursula B, and I am your host tonight. Tonight is going to be a fun show. This is our second edition of our Tribe Vibe, our Chit Chat. And we're going to talk about no new friends. This is going to be really good because today we're going to tackle about topics about making new friendships and some of the challenges that may or may not come with it. So I want you to join us tonight. I have some wonderful ladies as part of the Tribe Vibe. We're going to dig deep into why forming new connections can be a little daunting at an age and the importance of personal growth because we're all about expansion and shifting at Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. And also, the fun part is how to know when to let toxic relationships go, but gracefully. So before we do that, I want you all to make sure you like, comment, share this video. Also like it so that we can get these algorithms up. And if you hear me on replay, make sure and type replay gangs. Let me know where you all are tuning in from. But before we do that, check this out.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog.
And we're back. All right, tonight's topic, again, no new friends. So we're going to get right into this right now. I'm going to introduce you to the Tribe Vibe one at a time. We're going to start with Miss Deidra B. Let me get her out this waiting room.
Hi.
Hey, Deidra. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm well. Welcome back.
Yep. Glad to be back.
I'm glad you're here. So for those who didn't see our first Tribe Vibe, you mind telling everybody who you are, who you're the founder of?
Yes, I'm Deidra B. I'm the creator of a women's group on Facebook and Instagram called Moments of Transparency. It's a group where women can come and support each other, encourage each other. We can share and just be there for each other.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're going to go to Miss AR. Let's get her out of the waiting room. Hey, Courtney, take your mute off, hon.
Hey, new friend.
I like that. Hey, Quana, how you doing?
I am great. How are y'all?
We are good over here. So again, for those who missed our initial Tribe Vibe, you want to tell everyone who you are, what you do? Can you hear me, Quana?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. You mind telling everybody who you are? What do you do?
I am Aquana Raffington. I am a multi-business owner, and I am living in my passion right now as a life coach. So, yeah, that's me. A bunch of other businesses. You guys can figure that out on aquanaraffington.com.
Awesome. And we're going to bring VB out onto the main stage. Hey, Viola.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. I just celebrated my birthday this weekend, so I'm still kind of celebrating.
Well, before we get into it, can we all give a toast to the birth one time for the birthday spit? Clink, 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 clink.
Yay!
Happy birthday.
Thank you, beautiful.
do you want to tell everyone who you are? What do you do? And
Okay. Well, I'm Viola Borden. I am a licensed professional counselor, licensed mental health counselor. I am the founder of Eyewitness Counseling, a mental health practice. So that's been going for about a year now. Actually, it'll be a year in a couple of days. So I'm just so proud of that. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited to be here as usual.
love it. All right, ladies. I'm gonna read some verbiage. You just let me know if it sounds familiar, okay?
All right.
Maybe I should sing it, but I'm not a singer.
Okay, let me find out.
No new friends, no new friends. Still here with my day one. So you hear me say no new friends, no new friends. I still ride with my day one. I don't really need no new friends. Uh Forget all of y'all except my real ones. And one more time, no new
No new
friends.
friends, no new friends, no.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the remix. Because
Right.
you know I could really go in, but no.
Boom.
YouTube doesn't like those.
We just gonna keep it right there.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Oh,
Yes.
before we go on, let me backpedal just a little bit. So for the listeners, May is not only Viola's birthday month, but is also Mental Health Awareness Month.
That
So
part.
exactly. And so this past May 6th, 18th, 16th, excuse me, May 16th was Mental Health Action Day. So we talk a lot about mental health, which is amazing, but it gets to a point, do we celebrate the efforts or the actions of it? So I challenge you all this month and going forward, because rituals can become habits, but think of one thing you're going to do that you're actually going to take action for your mental health. It doesn't have to be anything huge, or it can be, but that's the beautiful thing. You make it unique to you. So give yourself 24 hours, think about it, and then put it into action. And as a nice little caveat, asterisk, July is one of my favorite months because it's Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So I go extra hard because I just love my people, and you're going to see a lot more of me in July, especially. Going to kick it up. Now we can resume. So what do y'all think about the no new friends and the lyrics and staying down with your day ones?
Oh, oh gosh, that's yeah. Let me take a sip real quick.
Viola, you can
Yeah.
do anything you want to because you are the birthday chick.
Yes, that's right. You know, I was really thinking, you guys, right, about this as we were approaching this. And I really started thinking this song came out in what, 2013?
Did it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it came out around 2013.
Okay.
And I think about the fact that me and you grew up in the same town, Ursula, but we didn't know each other when we grew up in the same town.
Right.
We reconnected through mutual friends in Atlanta when we were both living in Atlanta. And it was after that song came out. Had I subscribed, right, to this mantra, me and you would not be me and you today. So that's what I came in thinking about.
That's kind of dope. Oh, before we go on, you have a happy birthday from Shayna.
Oh, thank you, Shayna.
And Deja, if you can hear me, feel free to do your magic, hun. I'm with it. So yes, I agree with you. And the trickle down effect of it is that I would not have met Dee or Aquana.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought about that. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Shayna says the same thing. She disagrees with the no new friends concept. Shayna, do you mind putting in the chat on why you disagree? We love all different perspectives. You're part of the tribe vibe and the movement as well. So, yeah, we're curious what you have to say about that. But what about you, Dee? What's your idea about this no new friends?
Well, the me today I'm open to new friends. If you had asked me like 10 years ago, that was my jam. Okay. I didn't want no new friends. I didn't want to be around nobody new. I had my little circle. It was safe. It was fun. But now that I've matured and went on my own journey, I am open to new relationships that are gonna edify me and that I can give to as well.
I love that. What about you, Quana?
I think for me, the song hits because the beat is lit. And depending on I think where I'm at, I'm with Didi on that. Maybe 10, 20 years ago, I was definitely open to like new associates, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit here, bite-sized pieces, but I was very guarded to letting people into my intimate. And I think
Mm.
now I am entertaining friendships because a friendship is a very intimate thing for me. So I am like, I'm taking applications and I've taken application, which is why I met you. Right. And I think that learning yourself plays a major role in your ability to accept new relationships. Cause me, it's like no unreciprocated new friendships.
I like that.
So just putting more of an emphasis on the type of friends that I allow in my circle or to share my energy with, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
So, what did you mean by knowing yourself makes you want to get to have more friends or in your intimate circle?
So reality is, for a long time my husband has been like my friend, that and I had to be real with myself as to he supplies a great majority of my need, but every now and then I want a non-intimate connection. I know it sounds
Oh,
crazy,
okay.
but it's just certain things that I feel like I can do with a friend that I can't really do with him. So
Mhm.
I need friends that allows me to elevate myself. Not for him, of course, he elevates me as a wife, as a mother. Like he can contribute to those components of my life. But there's just certain components that a good friend can contribute to your life. Like telling you when girl stop playing, you know you was wrong. Like I need those type of friends friends in my life that helps me look at life in a different perspective. Sometimes you need a friend to help you find a silver
Mhm.
lining. And because I am more aware of who I am, now I can be more realistic to the type of friends that I allow to
Mm.
fuel my surface, if that makes sense. Because
Mhm.
unfortunately, sometimes you can have a close friend, but they not right for you. Or
Mm.
they are not on the level that you're trying to get to.
Mhm.
I'm not really trying to meet a friend where I'm at right now because this is not where I intend on staying. And that's what I mean about like reciprocated. If that relationship isn't reciprocated, if we are not actively trying to grow as individuals, there is a chance that we may grow apart. So I have
Mhm.
to entertain new friendships so that I can continuously be fueled.
Ooh. You know what I just thought about when you said that?
What?
So with my locks at the
Mm,
roots, because
mm.
this just happened because I'm actually due for grooming. If I leave them together too long, they start to grow together. So I don't know if y'all ever heard that term. Oh, because your husband has locks, right? Or is it? I never really paid it. Is it
Yes,
braids?
yes.
So then you would know how you
It's
have to
like,
pop the locks
yes, yes.
because they will
You have
grow
to
to
disconnect.
exactly. But I know when because I was just doing it last night, popping my locks, but they're still independent of each other and they're just as strong, even though you can have that same root. That's what
Yes,
I
Mhm.
was thinking when you were
yes,
speaking.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
I like
interesting.
I like what you said about the growing into something newer or kind of elevating,
Yes.
into something. And I think that by adhering to that concept of no new friends, you do
You
stifle
stop.
yourself,
Hmm. Yep.
right? Because you get so comfortable saying the same things, doing the same things, and then you may not get pushed outside of
Hmm.
the comfort zone. So you're kind of just stifled. right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a lot of old friends, and I mean, I have long-term friendships. I have people that I've known for 20, 30 years,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But I realize now where I am, right, that we've grown in different directions,
Like the
right?
locks.
Like
Like
the
locks.
locks. Yeah,
Yes.
we've grown in different directions. So I agree 100% with that. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That we have to some degree, right? Not saying not to do it without consciousness, right?
Right.
But carefully, and
Right.
take and accept applications. Absolutely. Because
Yes.
who we are
Yes.
now isn't who we were 20, 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Man. So let's go if we could shift, because I remember Quana, you talked about it not being reciprocated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at times. Or what are you all's thoughts on, oh, let me back up. Say if it was reciprocated, but you got burned. So I remember one of you all, I
Mm.
think it was Aquana said at times, or maybe it was Dee Dee, about being guarded.
Mm.
So what are you all's thoughts on the fear of creating new friendships? Maybe because you could have been burned in the past or it wasn't reciprocated.
Yeah. Oof.
I mean,
I'll
for
throw that
me, it was my
softball out to
personality.
anybody. A what?
For me, it was my personality. I'm a nice, friendly person, but I don't always like being around people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of introverted,
Introvert,
so
extrovert.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can be extroverted with certain people where I feel
Yes.
safe, but I'm really an introvert. I refuel that way, and I
Mm-hmm.
had an issue with saying no and being assertive in a lot of my relationships back in the day.
Mm,
So the way to avoid being put in that situation was to avoid people.
Yes.
So
mm,
it was
Yes.
more so about just
You.
avoiding uncomfortable situations, and relationships take work. So, if you're not
Mm-hmm.
willing to put the work in, it's easier to just stay away
Mhm.
or not build
mm,
any new relationships. So I've grown from that now. Now I know, since, like I said, like Aquana said, going on my own self journey, I know I can say no. I can be assertive in my friendships and relationships, and they're not going to go anywhere. They're still going to be here. So it's easier for me to navigate my friendships and relationships now. So now I'm more open.
mm. I like that. Open. What about you, Dee Dee? I mean,
They do look alike.
Viola.
Twin.
Twins.
I know.
And the older I get, the more I feel like we don't look alike. And then when people come in and they're like, y'all look alike, I'm like, okay, I guess it's still there.
Yeah.
But like I said, I get that with my mom too. They say the same thing.
Yes.
Really? I tried switching the thumbnails around, but it's still
It's like you're drawn to it, right?
I'm looking right at you and calling you Dee Dee. Hey.
Yeah, but I think that that's just a part of friendships, period. You know what I mean? It doesn't make them good or bad. I think that it's growth. You're going to experience,
Mm,
hardships in relationships as you grow. I always say that the only thing that's certain is change, right? That we're always changing.
Yes.
So when you change
Yes.
or a person changes, there's the potential or possibility of someone getting burned or someone getting hurt. You know what I mean? So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, it's a part of being, you
Mm,
know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a part of being. So I don't necessarily think that I subscribe or don't subscribe because I've been burned, because you can have new friends and get burned, or you could have got burned by old friends. So yeah.
Deja, I see you, girl. Thank you. Deja is making it happen. Thanks, honey. So I will story time. So
Yay.
so this was an adult friendship, and in retrospect I feel that I was, I don't say burned, betrayed. And I I felt betrayed. And I remember after that I was very hurt because she didn't tell me what happened. just dropped off the face of the earth. And I remember I became guarded after that. I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna get close to anyone again. But I thought because I've just always been a naturally friendly person and easy to make friends or people gravitate towards me. But I didn't realize that I was putting up a guard myself, and it was that brick was just getting brick upon brick, getting higher and higher, and I wasn't used to that because I experienced it once in childhood, but as an adult, it was weird to me. It was very weird, but because I've just never,
I got a question for you.
yeah, uh-huh.
Now, if you're not comfortable getting into detail about why the friendship ended, but was it something that happened prior to the friend dropping off that you feel betrayed by, or was it the drop off itself?
Repeat the first part again.
Did they do something prior to falling off on you, or were you more hurt by the falling off?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Both. Yeah, both. And then I asked her. I did. I finally got the courage because at the time I didn't have that courage to ask. Yeah, in full transparency, I didn't have the courage. So when I did, she just said nothing.
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my brain is over here, click, 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 right?
Yeah.
If you didn't have the ability to be transparency, do you feel like that could have been a block in the friendship, or why the friendship kind of went in the way that it went? Because I feel like with my friends, and maybe it's just my personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very kind of upfront. I like getting it out in the open. I don't like stuff between me and my people. So I necessarily didn't have that issue with saying hurt me, or this ain't right, or this doesn't feel right. Do you feel like that could have been a hindrance? Your inability to be transparent could have been a hindrance to some degree in the relationship.
Absolutely. And I didn't like conflict.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I did, and I still don't. But I have more tools now. But I didn't like conflict at all. Even a conversation was conflict for me. I just didn't like it. It's like, oh, let me stay away from it. But when I thought back, I think something I said could have been insensitive to her. Yeah. And I want to say I did ask her about it. Yeah. And she's like, no. So, I mean,
that happens. We're going to say things, we're going to do things. That's what I mean about it being a part of just being, right? We're going to say things that aren't always, right? The best for nurturing a relationship. And that's just a part of being, part of experiencing, you know what I mean? And I don't want no friends that can't understand that I'm a human being. That's the part I think
or
that
then I have to walk on eggshells with.
Absolutely. Right. And I think that that's where the whole no new friends comes from, right? The inability to accept people's flaws. You get what I'm saying? Because if people thought that it was going to be all gravy, the song would have never been a hit.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's the inability to work, like Didi said, put in the work, right? And to accept somebody for being a human being, and people are going to hurt you. I love the Bob Marley saying, it's one of my favorite saying, is that, you know, about people not hurting you. You can't believe that people aren't going to hurt you. You just got to find the people worth suffering for. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I'm a flawed person. I'm always going to say all the right things. So if a person can't accept my humanity and accept me just being, right, I don't want to subscribe.
Right.
Especially if I'm not intentionally being mean. Something I may have said may accidentally trigger you or make you feel some sort of way. But my intentions is not to make you feel some sort of way. I think it kind of goes with understanding a friendship is not a seesaw. You don't get to feel good so I feel bad, or you feel bad so I can feel good. That's not, companionship takes work, and it takes, like you said, recognizing the flaws in people. And then what I have to do is like ground myself. And what I mean by that is like, let's say I'm on the phone with Viola, and Viola may say something that I take offensive or harshly, right? Before I even internalize it, I'm processing it. Is this Viola's intention? Is this the type of person that Viola actually is?
Oh,
Could
that's
something be
good.
going on with her? And then I do this thing where I call keep her sweet. Keep it. It was intentionally for you. You do feel like it's something that you need to address with Viola. Maybe you don't have the courage to do it right at this moment, but it needs to be addressed before y'all move to a next chapter. Or sweep it. That wasn't meant for you. She going through something. It's cool. You got to give her some grace, because that's what friends do.
Yes.
Okay.
I like that.
I like that too. So, and this happened a while ago, but in that time about the grace, I do know now that there wasn't any grace because that person would recycle through friendships. And by that time, it wasn't, you know, I don't want to sound insensitive when I say I don't care. No, because I do care, but I didn't care enough to, it was over. It ran its course. And yeah. And where I'm at right now, people who I'm meeting now, it's a lot more. It's so beyond just the surface. And the beautiful thing about it, it's in different age groups as well. That's fulfilling for me. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you have friends that you've had like me for 30, 40 years, right? And you've grown to be a person that has expanded in so many other areas, right? But the particular friends you haven't grown in that direction with you, what do you do? If you ascribe to no new friends, what do you do?
You
Right?
either stay stuck or be bored.
Right? You feel stuck.
You be like the Golden Girls. Y'all no longer have anything in common. Y'all meet at the table and all y'all doing is
And you
bashing
just
each
together
other.
for the sake of being together. I don't believe in that. I
Me
believe in
neither.
growth. You know what I
I
mean?
need to be fueled in multiple avenues. So what I've learned is I got friends I can go to the movie with. I got friends I can go eat dinner with. I got friends I can talk about intimate problems with. I got friends I can laugh with. By expanding my friendship group, I don't have to feel no sort of way when my best friend don't want to do best friend things. Because remember, her idea of being a best friend and my idea of being a best friend is two different concepts. Did we
That's
meet
what I
in
was
the
gonna
middle?
ask. What's your definition of a friend? Because my definition of a friend could be different from yours, and
Yes.
like it depends on your definition of a friend to how you move forward with the relationship.
You know what I've learned?
No
I don't
expectations is
have a
like, I was
definition.
gonna say me neither.
I have experiences that transform and self-defined in terms
Yes.
of friendship, right? Like I used to think I had a definition, and that would get me into so much trouble because a friend is supposed to do this, a friend is supposed to say that, a friend is supposed to show up here, a friend is
Ideation.
supposed to, right?
Yes.
And I had to do away with the whole concept for me, right? In
Yes.
terms of friendship. And people show up in my life, right? And then by their actions determine and define if they're a friend by the way they show up.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So that's just me. I had to do away with it.
And you know what else I learned with that? My reciprocation and your reciprocation can be two totally different things. What you need from me, I may not need from you.
Right.
Reciprocate it. And I'm okay with that.
That's, it's funny because my daughter is the one, I didn't think a whole lot about the love languages. You know what I mean? Like I know they are, and I know what they are, and I knew what mines are. But I had a conversation with my daughter one day, and we were talking about, because she was subscribing to it and she was kind of giving me her opinion, and we were talking about it. And what I hear you saying kind of reminds me of the love languages, the way we show up for people. You know what I mean? The way we show up. You might be a gift giver, but if the person that you're with doesn't really appreciate gifts, can they really understand the way you're speaking to them? You get what I mean? So I hear that when you're talking about,
When you say that part right there, Viola, I have a question for you, right? Because I am a gift giver. and this is relationship, right? So I'm a gift giver. My husband gives gifts in different ways. Now, when we first got together, I would feel some sort of way because it's like, I got you a gift, so why can't you get me a gift? Or what do you mean? What do I want from the store? You couldn't just walk in and know what I. When I go to the store, I say, "Oh, this looks like Bay," and he's like, "But you are getting more benefit of giving me the gift than I am of receiving the gift."
Oh wow.
That
Okay.
part.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
That
Wow.
part.
and then I
And
started
I
buying
think,
myself gifts.
Right.
You right. You are so right. I would buy myself a
yes.
gift.
Yes, and I get that because I used to shop, but I used to shop for my family, right?
Yes.
And it felt so good. But my family, like I'm big on my furniture, and my
Yes.
family's like they don't really care about none of that stuff. You know what I mean? So I absolutely get what you're saying, but I think that that's a part of the work that you have to do to
Right.
maintain relationships. And again,
Mm-mm.
people subscribe to no new friends because they don't want to have to do the
They don't
work,
want to do the work.
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
don't want to have to do the
Yes.
work. That's what I think it's about, right? But anything worth having is worth
It's
working for,
working for.
Right.
So
right?
I have a question. I'm going to direct this to you, Viola. If you could put your professional hat on,
Mhm.
what is the difference between being scared or having fear of starting a new friendship versus someone who has social anxiety, or are they the
Mm.
same,
Yeah.
or like where's
Well,
that line, or is there a line?
I don't necessarily think I think one can lead to the other.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If you have anxiety and you have social anxiety, it can lead to your inability to develop
Mm,
relationships. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So it's almost like asking the difference between the diagnosis and the symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm.
right? So social anxiety would be the diagnosis, right? And the inability to form friendships would be the symptoms, like they can't quite, right? Because of their symptom presentation, they can't quite connect, or right. So I
Yeah.
think that it's kind of like one can lead to the other,
Mm.
Okay, that makes
right?
sense.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Like I don't think that having a fear of making friends leads to social anxiety, but having social anxiety can lead to an inability
Yeah.
or fear of making friends.
Mm,
That
Mm.
makes sense.
okay, good
Yeah.
perspective. So here's another question: have any of you all been on the other end of being rejected from someone who's like, no, no new friends? They may not have said it like that, but they're
Girl, let me tell you, because I'm so open, right, that it does feel like a rejection. I'll give you an example. I have a family member, um, and we were recently together, and they have friends around, right, that I'm bumping into because I'm back in town. I'm around my family again, and I'm bumping into my cousin, and this particular friend comes in and out the friend group. And I'm so open to people, you know what I mean? I'm open to energies, reading energies, right? And this particular friend has some things going on, right? I wouldn't know about because we're not friends. But every time I would see this person, it was like meeting them for the first time. That was so hard for me because I see you and go, hey, like, hey, familiar face. And they're like, I don't know you. We starting from scratch. It was like starting from scratch every single time.
Hi, what's your
I
name
see this
again?
person multiple times. You know what I mean? So I had to take a step back, right? Because I wasn't trying to dive in and be her friend, but I was just trying to go, okay, I've seen you before. Why are we back to like this? Right. And I had to realize that she's not open.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm,
That's all it meant is she's not open. And that's okay. You don't have to be open, right? But I'm open. So I get what you're saying about it feels like a rejection. You know what
mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Because I'm not looking to make friends, but if it develops into friendship, that great, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you can tell when a person is closed,
Right.
right? And it does kind of in some way almost feel like get that energy out of here. No, thank you. Right.
It's like,
Mm,
And
forget
but I
you
had to
then.
realize it's not in the past, I would have taken that personally,
Right.
right? Now it's just they got, like you said, they probably got some stuff going on I don't know about, right? Because we're not friends like that, and that's okay. But how do I, as a person being open and being friendly, keep seeing this person? Here we are on our 80th time seeing each other, and I'm still getting that blank.
Viola, right? Hi, how are you?
That's almost like you sitting in the meeting at work and you've been working there for 10 years and they going, we're going to turn this over to Ursula. You like, it's Ursula. Like, I've been here 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So I think that there's just a level, right, of just common courtesy.
Yes.
I function in common courtesy. And I feel like being here, and I don't know if it's my hometown because I've been told that it's my hometown because we have a tendency to be a little, right?
Like everybody's like,
I think all of our eyes went up. Like, yeah, I think
because y'all all familiar with it. Y'all know, right? And
it's the water.
Other
It's the
people's
water.
hometown too, but this is just our experience from our hometown.
that's
And I just really feel like there's a level of common courtesy. You know what I mean? Because I feel like this. How many times have you been somewhere and you're walking and you could come out and somebody looks at you and they smile, you smile, hey, and you walk, right? You would even address a stranger.
Yes.
Right? You would even address how many times do we address strangers on a daily basis when we make eye contact? It's like even a head nod, right? So I feel like there's a level of common courtesy, right? And when I'm seeing a person for the umpteenth time, right? And it's none of that. It's not about me. I had to learn that it's not about me. That's about something that they got going on. And I will be honest, me as a professional, I don't want to touch that with 10-foot pole. Make an appointment. I'm not working in my relationships to that degree. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because when I'm in my relationships and in my friendships, I want to be friendly. I want to be off, right? I want to be off. I don't want to have to be working consistently, right? So, and it's not to say that sometimes in friendship you don't have to work. I don't have to do that level of work, but my friends also I'm thinking, maybe you can do that work for me too.
Yeah. Right.
Reciprocate. You can't be pulling teeth.
Yeah. So I'm just going, you don't want it, you like it, I love it, I'm good with it. But I think after the 80th time, I'm going to be like, I don't want to be around somebody that doesn't have the ability to just be commonly courteous.
Right.
That's just me. Yeah.
It seems like making new friends, you almost have to be childlike, meaning, so when you see little kids, and they run and hug each other and they just like
exactly.
And just open and vulnerable.
I was going to say vulnerability, it sounds like you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. And then when they get older, that's when our blocks and our parts start to come and represent, like, I'm good.
But there it is again. Why people subscribe to No New Friends,
it's
right? The work is too hard, right? Being vulnerable. A lot of us have experienced some level of trauma, right? So the ability to be vulnerable is challenged, right? Because when you've been hurt in the past, who wants to be vulnerable and increase the potential of being hurt again? Right. So I think that we're kind of all open. It sounds like we're all open to new friends in this day and age and where we've gotten to, but it sounds more like we're ascribing to what that mindset comes from, that song, and what it comes
and then
from.
I want intentional friendships.
Right.
I think I'm past the phase in my life where I'm looking for surface friendships. Because like Viola said, I can walk outside and say hi to my neighbor. I could walk to the bus stop and say hey to the parents there, right? We have a common denominator. These are my bus stop associates. Hey, how are you? Have a great day. And that is fuel enough. But my friend, that intentional, intimate friendship, that comes with applications. Like, we got to get to know each other, because we got a date. I like using the saying date. If I have to use my famous bite-sized pieces with you, unfortunately you don't fit the friend category. However, it does not mean that at all times I will not respect you. You will not get common courtesy from me. If you hungry, I'ma feed you. If you naked, I'ma clothe you. Like, there's just certain obligations that go along with humanity. And but my friend is kind of like, that's a different, it's an intimate thing. It's yeah, it's intimate. And funny enough, because growing up we have such a big family. So we were told, you don't need friends, you got a bunch of cousins.
How big is the family?
And
They don't, when you say big family, they don't really
big.
understand.
Like we had a family reunion and 120 people showed up, and that was only 1/4 of the family.
Wow.
Like, big, in real life, big.
How many,
So,
I think this will give them a better understanding. How many kids did your grandmother have?
16.
Oh my God.
Now think about that, right? 16 kids, and then their kids had kids, and their kids have kids, right? I
Ooh.
remember being in school and saying to people, my cousin, and people would say to me, everybody's your cousin. And I'm like, no, that's really my cousin.
That's really my cousin.
When you got an aunt that got 16 kids and all their kids have kids, everybody's your cousin.
And then that aunt had 10 siblings. So my grandmother had 10 siblings. So she was from 11, and then she had 16 kids, and her sister had 11 kids. And so it like big. So because of that, we were brought up to believe you didn't need friends because you had family. So it helped to know friends, right? Now, I remember once I started this journey of self and being real with myself, I had to categorize my cousins. And this is how I did it. If we were not related, I would not hang with you. You don't mesh well with me.
Wow.
We don't mesh well. Because we are related, you get a sense of grace from me. That means I tolerate things unconditionally because we related. But in real life, if we take the bloodline away from it, you're not somebody I would deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I realized I needed friends.
Yeah.
There it is.
Wow.
There it is. Absolutely.
That's next level right there. That ooh, I never thought about that.
And that would hurt because again, I'm also blunt. I have a petty button. I know that about myself. So when I know this about myself, like my petty button is literally, it's not stick shift petty. It is definitely automatic petty. And the crazy thing is, it doesn't convert back. So I had to be honest with myself, like, oh shoot, your petty switch just went off. You need some time alone because your petty will be generational down the line petty. Like, come here, baby, come and get a grilled cheese because that day when your mama didn't give me nothing to eat, like I know this about myself. So I had to realize I can't friend everybody because that will either make somebody want to fight or they'll be offended. And for real, I'm just sarcastically getting my emotions off because you done did something to me. And I got one extreme or the next. Either we fighting or I'm being petty. But either way, I'm getting it out of me.
That's hilarious. Okay, I'm about to poke the hornet's nest right now. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go. What are you all's thoughts on a woman who says, oh, I don't do women friendships. That women are too much. They're too dramatic. I don't fool with women. I don't have with them. One thing happens. See, that's why I don't deal with women. No, I don't. I get along with men better. I'm just not having it. What's up, Dee Dee? Because I see your eyeballs.
I'm just like, I think it would come from an experience, like you said, something happened to them and they just can't get past it. Or my next question is, what's wrong with you? Because all women are too much, all women are dramatic, or is it the common denominator is you?
Oh, so you're gonna be like the kids
So
when they say, "Who hurt you?"
yes, yes, that's what it's given. It is like,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be my question. Why? What? What's going on
Mhm.
with you that you don't get along with the other women?
Mhm.
Well, you know what I will say along that line, I did feel like I could get along better with males than females when I was younger, right? And I think that it was because of my personality was
Mhm.
very in
Or
your
because
face,
you're
very
cute?
strong and very forthcoming. So I think that women, I just got along easier with women because I mean with men because women would get offended by what I said or feel like I'm attacking, right? And we all have our own version of truth, right? And my
Mhm.
truth is my truth, right? But when I say a truth and it hurts somebody's feelings, right? And that wasn't my intention. My only intention was to share my version of the truth,
Mhm.
right?
Mm.
And so I feel like my personality was a little bit could be a challenge for women who might have been a little bit more reserved or more sensitive. But I wouldn't say that all women are catty or I didn't do women friendships because I was open to everybody. But some of my best friends were males. I had male best friends coming up and they were just friends.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
So I think it was part of it was my personality.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I that was fun poking the hornet's nest. All right, so let's go to the next slide. Let's talk about letting go of toxic relationships
Mm.
and knowing when
Mm.
to do that or if we should do that. Um, just going back to what Aquana said, sometimes if that friend could be a family member, we're taught to throw our boundaries in the trash. It doesn't matter your
Mhm.
family. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. That's your cousin. That's your sister, aunt. You fill in the blank. That's a lot. It's a lot, and sometimes we're so
Mm.
bonded. Oh, can friends be trauma bonded?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Well, there you go.
absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So,
it's not just to sexual intimacy. It's not.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
mm,
intimacy period, right? And you can
mm-hmm.
have intimacy in your friendships.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Before we go into the letting go of toxic relationships, right? I
Yeah.
found an article. It's by Exo Nicole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it does talk about why we shouldn't subscribe, right? And the very first reason that they give is it encourages us to stay in toxic friendships.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm glad we're touching on this.
Look, you stopped everybody
Mm.
with that one.
And but no, because are we stopped because we all know we had some toxic friendships? Because I know I
Yes.
have.
Yes. Yes. And more yes.
I know I have.
And
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 you
I
know, it's
think
funny.
letting
Go
it
ahead.
go
Go
is
ahead, Kwani.
hard.
Say that
Letting
again.
it letting it go is like taking out a really tight braid.
Ooh.
Like
Ooh.
That part.
and it's like the longer you keep it in, the more knotted that braid is. You getting dreads and you ain't even intend to get dreads.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Damn.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
you getting that headache. Is what
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
getting when that braid is too tight. You
And
know.
I think for that, me and Viola talked up about this. And Viola, I want you to definitely speak on this. We learned that we are very similar, and it's not just because we're related,
Right.
but we literally live two circles. And I remember sharing this with someone. Like, I have an internal and an external circle. And if you, if I'm talking to you, I started paying attention to my body. Like if my arms start
Mhm.
tingling, my head starts throbbing, it just certain little
Stomach
indicators.
starts flipping or
Yeah,
Mhm.
tightening.
something.
Yeah.
Your
I'm
body
like,
gets tight.
exactly.
Muscles clench. Yeah.
It's time for me to, hey, at least let's say we're on the phone. I get the indicator. It's like, okay, girl, I gotta let you go. It doesn't mean that we're done. It just means now I need to evaluate how much of me I can invest with this person because my body is telling me something. And eventually it just begins to unwind when you put some space and boundaries and standards, right? And I remember one time I was going through something with a cousin actually that did intertwine into a friendship role. And I remember speaking to another cousin about it. And the question the cousin said was, "But how did you know she said that?" And I said, "Oh, because such and such called and told me." She said, "Well, Quana, that's your problem right there. Next time people calling you, telling you that XYZ said XYZ about you, you need to nip that conversation in the butt immediately."
Ooh, really?
That was the best advice I've ever heard. Because not only did she stop telling me it, she stopped calling me when I didn't want to hear it no more. Now you don't even have a reason to be connected to me. Because you and I don't subscribe to mess. So therefore, I'm no longer fueling you. But the minute I entertained it, even if that entertaining it was me crying or feeling some sort of way, or why would she feel like that? It was enough to keep her fueled. So she continued to bring it back until I nipped it in the butt. And then by nipping it in
you are subscribed, right? If you're allowing it in your energy, right?
Yes.
Right. And you're allowing it to affect you, even though you're saying I don't subscribe, you got a full freaking subscription right here going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why you have to have boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely can relate to you on that. And what I think about when you're talking about family members and friendships, right? I thought immediately about you and I, right? I don't know if people know.
Yeah.
Lana is my cousin on my mom's side. I wasn't raised by my mom, but my mom kind of brought me around that side of my family. Quana was the baby. She literally
baby.
The baby of the whole. Now think about that. When you're talking about 16 siblings that are all having children, right? And she's the baby, right? So there's a couple of years between us.
Yes.
I remember braiding her hair because I used to be the braider in the neighborhood. And she used to get dropped off to the house, and I would make sure her hair was laced, right? She had some nice braids, and that was the extent of our relationship. I knew she was my cousin, and she knew she was my cousin, but we didn't have a relationship. Me and Quana didn't begin to build our relationship until she popped up in Atlanta and was like, "I'm going to go see my cousin that lives in Atlanta."
Yes.
And from there, we started building a relationship. We were relatives, but we weren't family.
Yes.
I always say that there's a difference. I have a lot of relatives, but I don't have a lot of family, right? So it wasn't until she moved to Atlanta and then we started cultivating our actual relationship as two adult women that we became and grew into family. Before that, she was just related to me.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder, well, at least in my brain, I'm making a new friend with a relative.
Yes.
But there is friendship, right? And that's why I think it's so important that she said that, because I think to some degree, we can all relate to when you have a big family or have a lot of relatives around you that you don't necessarily think you need friends, or you're told you don't need friends. Right? But no, you do need to be friends, right, with your relatives. And I think that little component, when you begin to actually build a friendship with your relatives, is when you become family.
Yes.
That's some good stuff. All right, so let's shift, so to speak. What about people who want to start making friends as an adult? They feel a little awkward, they're hesitant, but their soul is really telling them that they want to connect. I believe we're pack animals, so we innately we want to connect. It's just when our parts get activated. But what about someone who's ready to embrace the shift And they said, I want a friend. I mean, I see Susie over there. She looks fun. She looks like she could be a good friend, friendly. What do
Mhm.
you all suggest?
I say be open and intentional.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm.
know that's what you want, you have to create that atmosphere to let people know that you're open. If you're walking around with, you know, the stank face, people aren't necessarily gonna be like, oh, she looks like she wants a friend. You know what I mean? So create an environment to where you're letting people know you're open and intentional. You're not, because we're older, we're not just gonna bump into somebody and be friends. You
Right.
know,
Let me
you have
ask you
to.
though, what does that look like? Because open can, I think, can be relative for you. What does that look like? How, if I walk up and you're there, how do I know you're open?
Well, I think it's more about where you are in environment. Because, like I said, I'm not going to bump into somebody in the grocery store and be like, she looks like she'll be a good friend. It's like being intentional. Okay, I want friends. I'm going to go do things and go places to events that I like. I like, I like concerts. Okay, I'm gonna go to a concert. I see somebody, hey, how you doing? Spark up a conversation. Same way we date. If you want to
Yeah.
date, you got to be
Yeah.
intentional. You got to be
Yes.
open. It's just doing it with the friendship. There's a limitation to the
So I hear you
relationship.
saying it's about communicating and kind of like being like
Right.
speaking and starting, maybe start sparking a conversation. Or is it
Mm-hmm.
maybe like a look, like a smile when you look at somebody and you
Yeah.
smile? So
Mhm.
it's gestures and words, I'm hearing you say, to
Yeah.
let a person
And
know you're open.
environment. You're not gonna make friends sitting on your couch every day. You, you got to go
Yeah,
places. You got to
that
do
part.
things. You got to meet people. You got to be open to meeting people. So you have to be really
Well,
intentional
regardless of what
as
the internet
well.
says, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
May I share a story on how I met some friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was at the gym. This was probably over 15 something years ago. And I used to watch this pack. It was about 5 or 6 of them. And they would work out. We have our whatever we were doing, and then there was the after party, meaning there was a workout after the workout. And I was like, well, I like what they're doing. So after watching them for a few weeks, I just went over there. I want to join y'all's pack. Like what? I just butted
I
in.
love that though.
I
That's
just
so
butted
lit.
in and I said, what's the next workout? I want because I see you and I'm pointing each of them out. Your interests are coming down. I see how you lost so much weight and your weight. I want to get like that too. So when are we working out again? And I would just go over
I
there.
love
They were
that.
doing push-ups. And I remember I got right in there and started doing push-ups with them. And do you know I've been friends with them maybe 12, 13 years, even to
Yeah.
this day. Matter of
Yes.
fact, her
Mhm.
birthday's in 2 days. One of them, her birthday's in 2 days.
Okay. Open and
Mhm.
intentional.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
just
I love that. I love
build
that you
those.
took the initiative. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it, had you not, right? It wouldn't have happened. I always tell people the person with the need is the person that should be in action.
I say the same
Ooh,
thing. Yes.
that's
Right.
good.
Yes.
I
And
never
I
heard
love that
that
you took
one.
the initiative and you went over because
Mm-hmm.
had you not done that, right, it may never have happened.
No, it would not have happened.
Yeah.
We would have been friendly, but
And here you are
Friendly.
12, 13
Mm-hmm.
years later, right? Because you took the initiative, right? But I think that takes vulnerability.
It
It
does.
does.
It
it
does.
Yeah.
does. It does. And but okay, you're right. But now that I'm thinking about it, it did take vulnerability. But now that I think about it, it still was surface. But that was Ursula back then. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I've evolved. So my openness has evolved as
And
well.
being surfaced in the beginning or guarded in the
Right.
beginning is a part of vulnerability. You shouldn't go in there willy-nilly, like, here's my bank account and this is where I live. And you still have to have a level of
Here's
security
my children.
mindedness. Right. Here my kids. I'm trying to see if you a good friend. I got 5. Here you go. Like, no, wait.
Right.
I use dating. This is even with family members. If we have been estranged for a while,
Yeah.
we dating. That means we going out to eat for a little while. I don't want to hear about your kids. I'm not talking about my kids. That's internal circle. You want to, everybody starts on the outer circle.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like Viola said, depending on where the relationship grows, dictates whether or not you stay in the outer circle, you stay outside of the outer circle, or you can be moved to the inner circle. But either way, you in one of three places in my life.
But it's action related. It's not labels.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? It's action related where a person lands in your life. Because I think that the reason why I got rid of the whole definition of friend is because I was meeting somebody that I liked and they had good energy, and I was trying to make them fit the mold.
Yes.
Now I'm trying to make them fit the mold, right? Now, because a friend is going to be asking me to, you know, hang out. A friend is going to be inviting me when they have this and when they have that. And when they don't, I'm feeling some kind of way. Right?
That part.
Right. So my thing is I learned to accept people for who they are. It's kind of that statement where they say, when a person shows you who they are, believe them.
Believe them. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I started doing that. And it's kind of, who was it that said earlier that Aquana, you were like, if this person wasn't my relative, I wouldn't even deal with them, right? And it's the same thing, because I feel like once you have a definition, you're constantly making sure that person fits in, or whether they don't fit in, you're not being a friend, you're not, right? But the reality is they're being who they are, and who they are is determining whether they're a friend, not the label.
Absolutely.
Itself.
Yes.
Not the label.
Yes,
right? So if you're treating me a certain way, if you're not inviting me, if you're not making me feel, right, a certain way, and a lot of it is feelings, and we got to be careful of that too.
Yes.
Right? But then maybe this is not a friendship. Maybe this is something else.
Yeah.
Maybe this is an acquaintance. Right? Maybe this is just that, like you said, that outer circle person, you know, associate, right? So I'm letting people define themselves, opposed to attempting to put a label to them and have them ascribe to it.
And removing expectations. The only expectation I have is the one on myself. I expect to be better than I was today, tomorrow. Like, and putting a sense of accountability, right? Like, hey, you want to be friends with me? Let me tell you right now. You call me after 9, I'm probably not going to answer because my phone is off. I got a bunch of kids and I'm too busy and I got things going on, but I do like to hang out. Send me a text, and if you really in need, make sure you text that, and then I'll call you. Like, I have to know who I am so I can properly tell you what to expect from me.
Right.
But you can also say what you expect from them, right?
Absolutely.
And then the person has the ability to do it or not do it.
Or we adults here. What we doing here? And story time for me. So I decided I wanted friends, right? Going through something in my life, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I think it's around the time I lost my mom. No, my mom was sick. But I'm like, I think I want to try friends, because COVID had happened and my employees were becoming my friends, and lines were getting blurred, and disrespect was unintentionally being crossed. So I'm like, you got to do something else to stop this. Maybe you need to try to find friends. Okay, so I go to this gathering. It's all over social media, and it's supposed to be a women's group. And I go, and I really enjoy myself. And from that circle created another circle. And I'm open, and I'm like, okay, this may be in the first weekend, you know, we hanging out, we playing cards. And then the second weekend they call to hang out and play cards. And then the third weekend they call to hang out and play cards. And I said, I don't think these are friends for me. Y'all want to do too much. And I'm not saying y'all doing too much. I'm saying I'm an introvert, extrovert. We have fun when we have fun, but I like me. And you interfering with me time, and me time got to share me time with kids time and bay time, and that's too much sharing. You got to come off the plate now. And I think they begin to feel some sort of way, and it's like, no, like, can we meet up? How about y'all meet every single weekend, and I can come maybe once every other month? Like, why can't I fit in where I fit in? Like, why does it have to be a posse?
because they expect you to subscribe to their definition of
Yes.
friendship. Yeah,
Yes. So
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
had to I had to know that it was time. It wasn't that it was toxic, but it had the potential to become toxic.
Oh,
Because now I'm coming outside of myself to make y'all feel okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
That seesaw. So I gotta cut it. It would have
Yeah.
been nice, but
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, no.
that makes me think of something. I have, like I said, I have long-term friendships, and I have a friend that has a friend group. And I remember I was sitting at my aunt's house, right? And my aunt is social media. I don't get to get on that much anymore. I really don't, right? And my aunt sees a posting and she's like, oh, they're out doing this and that. They're here, they're there. Did you get an invitation to that? Right. And my first thought was to act or respond in a certain way. And I was like, no, but that's the usual. Right. And I realized that I said it, and I think I had a conversation with my daughter about it. And I said, I realized that I was responding for my aunt's hurt. It wasn't even no longer
Mm-hmm.
my hurt anymore, right? It was no longer my
Mm-hmm.
hurt. I used to be hurt when they used to leave me out of stuff. Even if I can't go, like you said, sometimes I can't go, but to intentionally leave me out, right? So I said, no, but that's the usual. I expect that from that group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Realized that there was nothing moved down here. There was no tightening of the stomach like it would have been in the
mm,
past. There was no tension. And I said, my disappointment, I was catering to her disappointment because she was more disappointed for me. I
Mhm.
passed that now because what I've learned, right, is, and I think I've said this probably to everyone on this platform, is that this is my year of creation. I am in a state of creating
Mm-hmm.
the friendships and the relationships and going intentionality and being active and going after the people and the energies that I want to be around, right? And I realized, right, that I was no longer hurt about the group that was leaving me out because I realized that's not my group.
Right.
That's really
yeah.
not my group. You get what I'm saying? So there was no longer hurt, but when I had them listed as friends, that label on them, everything they
Mm-hmm.
do would upset me, right? Everything
Mm-hmm.
they would do. And then I had to realize your actions dictate or determine if you're a friend, not my label, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
So they're not, when they leave me out, when they don't include me, when they're not checking on me, when they're not interested in cultivating this relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So they're dictating whether they're a friend to me or not,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't disappointed. I was disappointed for her being disappointed for me.
Right.
That's some
Right.
good stuff. Well, speaking of piggybacking on what you said, Viola, about the growth part, let's talk about allowing ourselves to grow. And the way I interpret that is when we grow, we're being vulnerable, but there's also benefits to growing as well.
Mhm.
If I may share,
Yeah.
um, I know mm, we can go back to when Viola, when you and I had lunch during the pandemic. I can't say that word on YouTube. During the
Doing
panini.
the thing that we had going on. Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube is funny. So I remember when you and I had lunch and whatever the topic was, and I had started crying. And I never felt funny. I didn't feel embarrassed. I didn't feel guarded. It's just how I felt at that time because I was sharing something very personal with you. But I
Mhm.
remember just thinking about our lunch date, just how good it was. And I was like, oh, I did cry. But it
Didn't
just
alter a thing.
not at all.
Yeah.
In the corner, you see me cry. I
You
don't know.
just you just out here crying off willy nilly. Let me find out.
Well, I grew up
But
where we
but
were
I love it.
Yeah, well, I do too, because growing up, you were not allowed to cry. Period.
But it also speaks to your level of comfort with me and your level of
Mhm.
comfort with her,
Oh,
Yeah.
right?
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
your ability to be vulnerable. So that
Right.
speaks multitudes to me. Yeah.
Dee Dee, you're next. I'm gonna cry in front of you. To
I know. About due.
You think
But
gonna be like, hold on now.
hold on, wait a minute. But I brought that story up just to, it was, I recognized the growth within myself, because before it would be like, oh no, I don't look, but
Yeah.
now it's just open, and I believe it was reciprocated as far as the openness that you and I had. It was the exchange. And
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yes.
yeah,
That's the energy that I'm looking for, right?
Mhm.
It's an exchange. It's almost like
Mhm.
I don't know the words, but I know it when I feel it.
Right.
That's
Mhm.
my definition of friendship, right? It's an exchange of energies. You feel it.
It
It's a
feels right. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
so what are your all's thoughts on going back to the benefits and the growth, allowing yourself to grow? Have you all encountered any benefits of making new friends as an adult?
Hmm. I think even when I think of you and I, when I think of our interactions, they're refreshing. And that
Yeah.
to me is a benefit of growth, right? Because before, when I went into situations that I believed were going to manifest into a friendship, right? It's kind of like the label that Viola is talking about. You literally find yourself playing duck duck goose, like friend friend no, friend friend no, and then next thing you know, you got a bunch of people that you got to keep up with. Nobody's doing all of that.
Wow.
let's sit
Absolutely.
let's set the games aside and
Mhm.
literally categorize the people that fit seamlessly in our circle, right? Like in our circle, I'm speaking me, my three circles. Can this person fit in one of these three?
Mm.
Bite-sized pieces, surface with a touch of intimacy, and then like you see me with my bra off, lashes big, like you see me with an ugly cry, like you inner circled in.
Yeah.
You inner circle, and that
Right,
probably wasn't even
exactly.
our intentions, but we just allowed it to grow there.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like, oh, I do like her. Hey, I'm about to go get something to eat. You want to get something to eat? And every interaction is an interaction. And
Mhm.
Mm.
allowing ourselves to grow. I think that that is the benefit of
Yeah.
growing. You see my wall, Ursula. I have this wall where I
Yep.
brought
Right.
these things on from Amazon, and one of my employees' daughters went to a Ross next to her house, which is like an hour away because you know every Ross got something different. And she's seen a picture and she's like, "Oh, Quana, when I think of you, I thought of this picture." And the picture is just like a cricket behind flower, almost look like a shoe with, with a bunch of different like flowers on it. And I'm like, oh, you think? She's like, yeah, I just feel like you're so bubbly. Like you just have so many layers to you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Wow. Glad to see what you get from it. So now I'm looking at this picture and it's borderline like, I don't see what she see in this picture. And
Mm.
I show my husband, he's like, it's ugly. Put it up on top of the ceiling so you don't have to look at it. And then when I do my office, it's like a perfect spot in the middle of there. And I
Yep.
said, oh, I'm gonna turn the picture to the side. And then
It's
I
the
ordered these.
perspective. It's how you look at it. It's
Yes.
the
So I turned it to
angle.
the side and I ordered these little things from Amazon: execution, success,
Mhm.
just a bunch of different words: blessed, grateful, all of the stuff
Mhm.
that encompasses me. And then
Mhm.
I broke off the stems of the flower and hung the pictures through there. So it looked like you walked into like an art show.
Yeah.
And my motto for that is what you plant, you grow.
Mhm.
So this is my tree, and this is me. So if you do want to be my friend, right, these are my attributes. you should be adult enough to know if you can align with these type of attributes.
Right.
And if you can't, let's not do each other injustice. Hey girl,
Mm,
how you doing? Right? Let's stay surface, and that's fine too.
that
Because
is
when I
okay.
say how you doing, I genuinely mean it. But it doesn't mean that, oh girl, I'm homeless. I'm not gonna say come sleep on my couch. We not there. But I will
Mhm.
say, you know what? Can I send you a couple dollars to get something to eat? Or you understand what I'm saying? So I think the growth that comes from different connections is refreshing.
Mhm.
Let me tell you something. That is so cool. So I'm developing a new friendship as we speak. And for those who do not know, well, before I say that, y'all make sure you're listening, hit that subscribe button, like it, because YouTube loves to keep the algorithms going. So hit that like button and share it with a new friend that you want to cultivate a friendship with.
Yes.
This is how
Date
you
your
do
friend,
it.
teach your friend. That's
That
right.
part. That
Right. And
part.
tell them that you a black girl getting her shift together. So what we doing?
Hey.
What we doing? What we doing here?
We cultivating relationships over here.
All
Right.
24, 25.
Exactly. So, okay, I started playing pickleball this year and I got on the court and there was a woman next to me. And at the time I had just started playing and she said, well, how long have you been playing? I said, oh, well, just a couple of weeks or a month, whatever it was. And she was joking. And I did take it as a joke. She's like, oh, but guess what? We play so well together.
Mm.
Pickleball partners
Oh,
really well. Yeah. And then we end up exchanging phone numbers. She's like, you're going to be my partner. And we played
oh,
all night. And that was back in February this year.
Mm.
And I really adore her. She is so nice.
oh.
She is so, I mean, she's friendly.
I, I, I
I'm
have
still
a
getting,
question for you.
uh-huh.
So you meet someone, you have similar interests, right?
Mhm,
They have good energy and you have good energy.
mhm.
Does that mean you guys could be friends? Or could it be a situation to where she just has good energy, you have good energy, and y'all just pickleball partners?
Actually, I
Right.
would say both, but we could
Yeah.
be friends because we've
Mm.
talked on the phone.
But you're open for either, is what I'm asking.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
this could just be a good thing that's meant to just be right here, is what I'm saying. Like sometimes we meet those people that you just right there, and that's good.
Well,
Mhm.
here's the twist to the story. One of my racquetball partners, we've known each other since 2006. Okay. And she's evolving as well spiritually, just she's just elevating. So we've never lost touch, but we reconnected in a higher level, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So we're talking, and she says, oh, well, what are you doing Saturday? I don't know. And I said, oh, I'm playing pickleball. She asked me where I was playing. She's like, wait, I know someone who plays there. How about she's been close friends with my new pickleball partner friend for
Wow.
year from before
Wow.
the panini came, before 2020,
Okay.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
probably since 2018 or 19. Isn't that something?
It was
So
meant.
she knew both of us. So now there's soon going to be a triad.
Mhm.
Okay.
So yes,
So
and I,
building your sister circle.
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
She's so my point I'm making is that when I had started to grow here and here, my
Mhm.
circle started to grow, or
Yeah.
the the quality.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you have, I feel like when you have a circle, it's more than you have quadrants even inside of that circle.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like Quana said earlier, I got the friends that I can call and boo-hoo and cry to, and then I got the friends that I can go do a movie with. You know what I'm saying? Because I even thought about it, and I was listening, and I consider you a friend, right? A
Mhm.
good friend, Ursula. I have to point you out, right? Ursula, I consider you a good friend.
Yes.
Um, but I don't play pickleball. I'm not into pickleball, right? So
Mm.
if I kind of locked you in, right, and I would be doing you a disservice because you love to do pickleball. You love to do things that are actionable. I'm more of a mind person and a thinker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you try to lock somebody in a certain, right, you don't allow them to be themselves. I can't fulfill
Yes.
every need for you. I would love to play pickleball. I don't know how, but I guarantee you that I probably wouldn't be out there playing every day in tournaments like you do, right? So
Right.
so my thing is, you do have friends, like Quana said earlier, certain friends for certain things, and I realize that,
Yeah.
right? I realize that I got an inner circle, but then I have quadrants within that inner circle.
Within that, yeah.
Yeah.
Dee, do you have quadrant friends or associates?
Yeah, I call them associates
Yeah.
because my friends are it like Quana was saying, it's the intimate inner thing. And I have few. Now I'm open
Mhm.
to some, but at the moment I only have a few friends. Now I have a lot of associates, people
Mm.
that I know, people that I'm open to. We can talk, we can counsel, but I have a very intimate circle of friends at the moment. So I
That's
guess I'm the
good.
market. Anybody want to be friends?
Hey, I'll be your friend.
Right. Moments of transparency.
I
Exactly.
love it. I love it.
We are taking applications. You can submit your
Right.
applications at Black Girls Getting Your Shift Together.
Hello.
Y'all got to
Right.
hear
Let's
all our
grow this
personalities.
tribe, y'all. Let's go
Hashtag
grow this
name.
tribe.
Facts.
Exactly. I will say this because of my vulnerability and openness, and starting with you, Viola, and how it's trickled down effect to the women we have on the panel right now, I would not have been able or in the process of leveling up Black girls getting their shift together.
Mm.
But that's what I mean
Forever
by that,
grateful.
ascribing to that mindset. Think
Oh,
about when we first started kind of connecting deeper to
mhm,
podcasting and calling each other and
mhm.
conversating. You didn't know, right, what it entailed. You didn't know that it would lead to you developing other relationships and
Right.
friendships, that and then you leveling up in your own business in life, right? So my thing is, ascribing to that, you don't really understand what you are
Missing.
withholding or
Holding. Yes.
blocking
Yes.
out of
Yes.
your life by subscribing to no new friends.
Exactly.
Say that last sentence again about the withholding.
Like when you ascribe to no new friends, you don't think about the fact that you could be blocking out all of these blessings that you
Yes.
find from being open to making new
Yeah.
friends, right? So it's not just a mantra. It's not just a thing
Mhm.
you say. It's not just the work, right? You put the work in with me, reaching out to me, contacting me, and look at what it produced. It
Yeah.
produced you later on being able to be in a position to level up your life. You didn't think that when you ascribed, right? You didn't think that
Right.
when we started building. We never know what
Don't
is meant to
know.
produce in us. You know what I mean?
And
Or for us.
exactly. And knowing with my coach, Aquana AR, seriously, just knowing where this is going is beyond this right here. I mean, there's literally going to
Mhm.
be hundreds of thousands of people that's going to be affected. So it just,
Exactly.
I'm like getting
Absolutely.
goosebumps just talking about
Mhm.
it. It is
And to add
amazing.
to what Viola said, I think that it's important because I hear a lot of people say things like words have power, right? And then they get lost in believing that their words are so powerful that it becomes like a magic trick. Way too
Mm.
extreme. But let's look at it like this. Like, oh, I hope her hair fall out. And you really believe that your words just made her hair fall out. Girlfriend,
I'm
go sit down
sorry. I
somewhere.
should be laughing, but
I'm just saying, like,
I've
that's
heard
the
people say stuff
yes,
like
me
that. Like,
too.
oh, I
Like,
hope this
y'all are
happens.
taking it way too far. However, the words that we say become our affirmations. When you stick to no new friends, if you may hinder even the friendship that comes within yourself, because you should be your own best friend. And the reality is, who you are today, you're not going to be that same person tomorrow in the days to come. So that mantra of no new friends could affect you accepting who you are evolving into.
But
Wow.
that's why I say you don't accept.
Yes.
Then you may very well be the very same person if you don't have new friends. You may never grow.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I remember back in the day, do y'all remember when people be like, oh, I'm the same. I'm the same.
I ain't never gonna change.
I ain't never gonna change. I'm like, that sucks for you.
That
If
sucks.
you are the same person now that you were 20 years ago,
Oh God.
that sucks for you.
I've
You
been
know
this
what I'm
way
saying?
all my life.
But they're willing to change their wardrobe, shoes, hair, glasses,
Nails.
nails.
But that's why I'm like, we have to evolve. We
Yes.
have to grow.
Yes.
And I think new friends is a
Help
part
that.
of that. Just your ability, like you're talking about, to be open and to be vulnerable is an evolving, right?
Yes.
It's elevating, right? So it's change, it's constant growth and transformation, and making new friends. I feel like it's a big part of that.
Absolutely.
Do you feel that growth and elevating can be uncomfortable for people?
Oh, absolutely. But it's kind of like I tell my clients, it's not about not having fear. Fear is a human emotion, right? It's about being scared and doing it anyway.
Yes.
Yes. Doing it anyway.
I love that. So talking about doing it anyway, let's talk about some practical tips for making new friends / associates, being friendly. Y'all want to share any tips?
Be actionable.
Yeah, be intentional, be actionable, be intentional.
Yes.
Right.
And don't be entitled. Right. If you want to be my friend, then you should speak first. Nah, I'm the one that want a friend. It's funny because before
the need lies with you.
Yes, before I actually took my life coach certification, right? I used to watch Ayala Fix Your Life, like every episode, right? And then when she would come to Atlanta, I'm in Atlanta, and I would go by myself and sit front row, and I'm like this. And one day somebody was like, "Oh my God, you really idolize her." And I was like, "No, I don't. She my mentor." Without her permission. I did not ask her to be my mentor. I said she was my mentor. She mentored me and she don't even know it. Like, I want to be your friend. I don't care if you don't want to be my friend. What I want from you is enough to fuel my friendship energy. Here's the question. If what I am willing to give, is that enough to fuel yours? Because I may only like,
I don't think we often ask.
You may like massages. We're uneven. It just means we're reciprocating on different levels. And I think that comes with maturity.
Almost definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I would say another tip would be to be forgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgiving of others and even of yourself. You know,
why do you say that?
What do you mean? The forgiving of yourself? I think that when you have fear or you have past histories, and you enter into something and people do something to hurt you, you blame yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have to forgive yourself, but you also have to forgive other people too. I think forgiveness is a big part of having the ability to sustain friendships. And now I'm not saying forgiving to the point of it's a lifestyle. Every time I see you, I got to forgive you for something. We need to reevaluate, right? And it's about changing that person's access to you. If I have a person that I'm constantly having to forgive, every time I turn around, they're hurting me, right? Then I just need to change the access you have to me. Right? I need to create safe distance. Right? But I think forgiveness is a big part of friendship. I don't want people to have the illusion that friendship is this thing that is always rosy and it always works, and my friend and she know all my, everything. But no, sometimes you got to forgive your friend because like I said in the beginning, we're human, right?
Mhm.
We're flawed. Every man is
Mm-hmm.
fallible to
Yep.
some degree, right?
Yep.
So forgiveness is absolutely necessary unless you're dealing with a robot that's programmed to be, the best friend, then no, you have to have forgiveness.
I like that. I like that. You have any tips, Dee Dee?
Mine were be open and intentional, you know,
Yeah.
just continue to be open and intentional and open to being vulnerable because
Yes.
that comes with it.
Mhm. I agree with you on that. Definitely the open part. Really all of it, but especially the open part. Um, some of us can have that face that don't
Oh,
talk to me, don't
Right.
approach
Don't look at
me.
me.
Yeah, don't look at me. So you're right. Just being open. And I love that. I love that.
but you know what? I have a friend when you're talking about that face, right? And I don't know if she's gonna hear this now, but she know me. Um, I she does have that face, and everybody, it's not just a face that I think is just like, and I'd be like, I just go, "You so stink." You know what I'm saying? Like, because her face is just always so all the time, and people mi- misconceive, right? Because I know that face is just her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people call it like resting bitch face or whatever. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. But I had to get past that layer because if I went only by that look, like everybody else that thinks that she's probably this person, you know what I'm saying? Um, I just call it like it is, and I just be like, "You so stank."
Hmm.
Are you gonna speak today? You're not gonna speak today, and that's kind of how we broke down the walls. But it didn't change her look. She
The
still,
barrier.
I
Yes.
see her, she still kind of has that face, like y'all, I can't even do it, but y'all, because my face don't even just go like that, right? But I'm saying you can't judge a person by their external either, just simply by the look on their face, right? Because some people just have a look,
Right.
right? So
Right.
I had to get past the work. Some people ain't willing to work. When they see that face, they like, no, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just that person like,
Like, girl, forget her. I ain't got no.
look, no,
Yeah.
my thing wasn't forget her. My thing is, do I need to forget you? Let me know. Because that I'm not gonna judge by your face. I'm gonna need you to tell me that
Yeah.
I need to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we passed that, right? But
Hmm.
that's what I'm just saying. Some people you can't judge by exterior or by they look. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It
That's
goes
true.
deeper than that.
I
It
think it
does.
also adds to learning how to live in a moment.
Absolutely.
What do you mean?
Like live in a moment. If you and I could only be friends in on Mondays,
A
Tuesdays,
reason
and
or a season.
Wednesdays, right? If we're friends for certain seasons or certain time frames, then I'm gonna enjoy that friendship in those moments.
Mm.
And
A
I'm not
reason or
gonna
a
try to
season.
pull you into other seasons because that's just not the friendship that we have.
Oh, I like
Mhm.
that. That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, the host.
You on your we need you to come off your soapbox.
Wait, what's the question about the tips?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so with the tip, let's see. I really like being open. That's something for me. I know we've said it a lot, but being open for me is huge.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would think, well, I never really been in the need of wanting a friend or having because I've I've I I'm not trying to sound it's just it is what it is. I've always had friends, friendly associates, but if I'm actively looking and like, you know what, I think I want to add some more to this a circle. A tip would be that some people are right there. You really don't have to search. Sometimes they're right there with you, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So going back to tennis and or excuse me, racquetball and pickleball, those people were right there. Sometimes you
Mhm.
don't have to always go out and search. It's just going back to what Dee Dee said, being open, and it could be open to the person right next to you. Like, you
So
know what?
in 5 years, if you no longer playing pickleball,
Do they grow with you?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give Stacy, one of my girlfriends, a big shout out.
Hey, Stacy.
I'm
Hey,
about to say,
Stacy.
hey, Stacy.
Yes. And Stacy and I have stopped. We used to be racquetball partners, and we stopped playing. Remember, I met her in 2006, and we stopped playing probably in 2010. We're in what, 2024 now.
Okay. 14 years strong.
Mm-hmm.
And since the past 4 years, we've gotten even closer because she started to come into her spirituality and
That's the
started
part. And
tapping in.
that's the part I was searching for, right? Not necessarily just that it's spirituality, but you're evolving. So your needs are changing, right? And does this person have the ability to change with you? And if they don't, are you open to making sure that that part of you is fulfilled? That means we may need some new friends if that person is not evolving in that area,
Right.
right?
So
Because
at
we
that
should be all growing.
Exactly. So at that time, it fulfilled that need because we all hung out after the gym as well, and we did activities, and we never lost touch, but we just came right back around. Ooh, like a heart. We came,
Aww.
we came right back together again. Yeah. And we're stronger and closer. And we never fell out. You know, life just be lifing. And
That's
like you
right.
said, seasons, but that never impacted our friendship. But it's just another layer, an extra layer of we're so beyond surface now. And she's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful,
But
just
it
a
had
beautiful.
to grow. And I think that
That's
that's the
right.
part
As you
of,
evolve and you grow,
yes,
you have to
letting it
have people that
organically
are
grow.
feeding new parts
Yes.
that are emerging
Yes,
of
yes,
you.
yes.
Yeah.
And another tip is going back to the growing. I actively try to I actively water that friendship.
You made an effort.
You were
You put
intentional.
forth the
Actionable
effort.
steps,
Yes.
intentionality, like Quana's talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very intentional
You know
because
what's in the back of my mind, y'all? And I
what?
don't know why it's in my mind. I know we're wrapping up, so it's probably a heavy topic to bring up right now. But I wonder where Robin Williams' friends were,
Mm.
Yeah.
right? Because of his celebrity. You know
Mhm.
how many people were probably in his life, right? And this is why I was kind of poking or a little bit to pull out of you to try to see in terms of are these people growing with you, right? Because when he first started his career, he probably just wanted a career. So the people that he was engaging and meeting were fulfilling that need, right? And then as he grew in his career and as things change, right? The people in his life, and I'm just assuming because I don't know, might not have had the ability to grow with him as he needed something more. And he has all these people in his life, right? Because I'm sure he had to have people in his life. He was a comedian, he was a celebrity, right? Probably he had no loss for people that wanted to be in his life, I'm sure,
Mhm.
right? There was something that he evolved, right? That I feel wasn't being addressed or wasn't able to be fed with the people that were in his life, right? I'm not blaming the people who were in his life for what he chose to do, right? But I'm just saying we as people are consistently and always evolving and changing, and we need to, right? We desire connection. So when those parts, we got to make sure that we're not stifling ourselves by saying no new
I
friends,
think that's where balance
right?
comes in at because you're right. Like
Yeah.
when I think of my day to day, it is extremely busy. Like I live a very busy life. However, because I know that balance is the only thing that keeps me in a mindset of evolution, in a mindset of growth. Sometimes I have to bring it back in. Like today, normally I'm up at 6. It's starting with prayer, then it's starting with kids, then it's starting I'm at the office and I'm running from here. And then today it was like, I'm not doing it.
Mhm.
I need a surface moment. I need a grounding moment.
Come up for air
Yes.
I
moment.
need to feel like I want to hang my own curtains and I want to go pick my own picture out and I want to, just willing it back in because I begin to feel like I'm becoming imbalanced. So although the evolution is happening, but it's happening and I'm doing this, but I'm kind of doing it like this because so much is going on. And I'm like, well, hold on. Sit it down for a second. You're gonna have to rise like this because if you keep moving as fast as you are, something is gonna become imbalanced and you're gonna intentionally outgrow people.
Mm.
Because we've outgrown each other, but really, she called you. Did you call her back? Like, you know what I mean?
Brain.
Like, you was busy then, but are you
Truth.
busy
That.
now? Just being real with yourself in accountability. I think that
That's a word ain't none of us mentioned, and that is a big part.
accountability.
Because we want friends, right? But are we being a friend?
That
Ooh,
Are
ooh.
we being a friend we want?
And it's funny, it kind of goes back to choices, right? I have a choice. And my 18-year-old said this best, and this is another topic we probably can touch on, but we were speaking about parents, how a parent chooses to have that child. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And he said, when they decide to do, that's a choice. That is an active choice to an active choice with a risk of a child developing.
Okay.
And then when the mother finds out she's pregnant, that then becomes an active choice to keep that child. And then when the mother pushes that child out, that then becomes an active choice for her to raise that child. And the way he explained it was, as bad as this sounds, after having sex, you have Plan B pill that you can go buy. You chose not to buy it, so that means you made an active choice, falling at risk. Then when you find out you are pregnant, you have abortions. We know in Georgia you can't have them, but in other states you can. And as sinful or as wrong as it may sound, it still is a choice. So those
Everything is a choice.
choose to have that child. And then when you push the child out, you have the ability to give the child up for adoption. And as he said, even the fire stations say, drop your baby off here. This is a safe place. You make an active decision to raise that child. So you, as the adult, need to be responsible and accountable for your choice of being a parent. And that was
Absolutely.
my
What I hear a lot of times is I'm stuck. I don't have a choice. And I tell people on a daily basis, there's always a choice.
Absolutely.
You are making a choice every day.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
There's no, unless a person is really literally holding a gun to your head, right?
Oh, we can't say that on YouTube. Say
Okay,
pow,
sorry.
pow,
Pow,
pow, or
pow.
something.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. You can blank that out, right, when you read. But unless a person is really right threatening, right? You're always making a choice.
Absolutely.
Everything we do is a choice, even when it's something that we don't want to choose. Doesn't mean that we don't have a choice. It's just not a choice that we want to choose.
Period.
Right?
We don't want to activate it, but we
right. So,
yeah.
and even in friendships, right?
Yes.
You're making a choice every day. Do I continue on with this person? If a person hurts you, you said it too, or so you said, the friendship was at an end. It wasn't worth the effort, right?
Yeah.
You made a choice to let it go, right? But that was a choice you made. It wasn't I didn't have a choice. That's just where it went to. You made an active choice to no longer put in the effort or the energy to continue to work towards maintaining this relationship.
Absolutely.
It's an active choice, everything that we do. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it is choice, but accountability is a big word. And having accountability in our relationships. As friends, I think that that's a big part. We should have accountability towards our friends. If I make you feel bad, right? You have accountability to let me know I made you feel bad, right? But I also have an accountability to accept that I made you feel bad or what's going on with you.
Exactly.
That's important. I think a bigger thing is what I've learned to do and what I share with my clients is my emotions are my emotions. Right. If I ask you guys to do something for me, you tell me you're going to do it and you don't, right? The natural response is disappointment. I don't like
Absolutely.
people who make me feel like I'm not supposed to be disappointed because they didn't mean to let me down. Doesn't change the disappointment,
It
right?
doesn't change the fact that you let me down.
Right.
Right.
Now, this is what I've learned, right? That the disappointment is mine because I had
Yes.
an expectation.
Yes.
I had an expectation. So it's my responsibility, right, to navigate or how I navigate that disappointment. I
Yes.
can share with you as a friend that you disappointed me, right? But how I treat you based on that disappointment,
I like that.
I gotta
It's
get out of
my
that space.
responsibility. Facts.
I like that.
Facts. Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. I think you
Emotion
dropped the mic on me.
regulation.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. This was
Yeah, I love
good.
this.
This was really good. The tribe vibe was vibing tonight.
Yes.
Dee Dee was pretty quiet, her usual quiet self over there.
Yeah, she was, but Dee Dee was dropping gems when
Oh
she jumped
You
in.
yeah,
She's
know,
like,
she
boom.
when I
let me
speak, it be
tell you,
good.
sometimes I be like, the master is mastering the old master, okay? And I still selfishly be like, I did that when
I
she
did
be
that.
helping me out,
Yo,
right?
Kyla.
When she
Hey.
when she helped me out, I be like, ooh, I did that, honey, because she do be dropping jewels.
Oh,
Trust me.
she
Yes.
does drop the gems now.
I
Yes,
try.
but you know
Definitely.
what? Speaking of friendship, what I learned is we moved from the parent child and we now are in the friend, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The adult area. We both make a conscious decision every day, right? To be
Right.
a part of this relationship, right?
That's
And
Mhm.
beautiful.
she's not going, you're my mama, you supposed to just understand, right? Because I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, boo, you don't be calling me and I'm feeling some kind of way about that. I might need
Mhm.
that. Can you do it? And she said, I
Mhm.
hear you and and I can. And she started to.
Mhm.
It's about friendship. We are
Yeah.
nurturing the adult. We make a conscious decision every day to remain in relationship. We don't take it for granted that she's just supposed to and that
Yes.
I'm just
Exactly.
supposed to.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So when
Yeah.
we're talking about friendships, for real, if you want to just get real, we decide to be friends and we put
Mhm.
in effort every day to maintain that friendship,
Mhm.
even though she's my child.
Yes.
You get what
Mhm.
I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
That's some good stuff right there. That's
Yes.
a whole
Mhm.
nother topic. I would definitely
You ain't
love to
never
explore.
lied. Yeah, you ain't never
Yes.
lied.
That's some good
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Well, ladies,
My best
any
friend.
parting words?
Go
Use
ahead,
us as
Queen.
an example. And if you feel like you are at a place in your life where you need friends, right? Because need and want is two different things. But if you
Yeah.
feel like you need a friend, start with your interests.
Yep.
There are a lot
Yep.
of groups on Facebook.
Yes.
Entertain some of those groups, try meetups, don't be afraid to do something different, because a
Mhm.
lot of times we don't know what it is that we enjoy, we don't know what our interests are, we don't know what we like, we don't even know what kind of friend we actually need. So the
Mhm.
only way to find out is allow yourself to try, and
Mhm.
maybe you won't like it, but keep
Mm.
trying.
Keep
That's
trying. Yep.
it.
Absolutely. Because if you have the need, you are the person responsible for being in
Absolutely.
action. Yeah.
Exactly.
You are obligated to fulfill your need.
Your need. Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, what does that look like Viola said, my oldest is not with me now, and I feel some sort of way, right? and
Mhm.
um and really I had to ask myself, like, do you feel some sort of way because you his mom, or do you feel some sort of way because you miss him? I said,
Mm,
I miss him. He's my
Yeah.
friend. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
he's just so compassionate and caring. And so I had to say to him, son, I understand that you are evolving as a young man, but I need to
Mhm.
hear your voice at least once every 3 days. Can you give me that? Because understanding who he is, he's not an everyday check-in type person. So
Right.
can I hear your voice at least every 3 days? And like, sure,
I like that you
different.
asked him and that
Yeah.
you didn't say it like, this is what I need and you have to,
No,
and
because
him
my
feel some
need
level
don't
of
supersede
pressure as
his.
you being his mom,
Yeah,
right?
and I think that
That,
that's the thing
hey,
too.
this is what I need. Can you do this?
Can you do it? And if he said no, then I probably would have harassed one of his other siblings. But I'm just
You don't need to navigate. That's yours for you to navigate on your own. Don't be putting it on nobody else.
I would just, one of some other siblings.
Y'all
So
are
were you here like
funny.
your brother?
Y'all are funny. Oh
yeah.
my God. Well, I'm loving it.
Me
Anyone
too.
else? Last word, last gems anyone wants to drop before we press pause?
Take the floor, Dee Dee. No, sir.
Yeah,
Be open to
got
new friends. We need Drake
What?
to drop a new song.
yes, Drake. It's time. Come on.
Right. You know what? He should clean up his mess. You are absolutely
Exactly.
right.
Well, he's a little busy right now, but
You
you
need to
know.
start that. Ernst, you in the best position. You be out there seeing folks. When he come by, you need to let him know he need to clean up his mess.
Will
No
do.
new friends. We need, something new.
Dee said he's busy right a
We
little
need
bit.
I
Bill is
got
busy
friends.
right now.
I got friends. I got friends. I got friends.
We need friends. We need friends.
Right. There you go.
How about this one? Friends, how many of
There
us
you
have
go.
Got
them?
them. Friends.
Hey.
Ones we can depend on. Friends. Yes, that was a jam. That's what we had in our generation. You are absolutely right. We didn't have that.
We did it.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, ladies?
What?
You all are Black girls getting their shift together.
Yes.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together.